The following broadcast is a presentation of iRacing Motorsport Simulations live on PTR TV. We'd like to thank all of our partners for their support.
He may get the run on the outside, off of the back straightaway. 26 and Hallmark trying to go 3 wide, no one's with them.
Talking and bobbing and weaving down the back straightaway, looking for a way around. The 5 machine trying to take a look underneath the 3 car. He's gonna dive in down to the bottom. A huge move down to the bottom of the racetrack.
Back bumper. Can anything happen through the tri-oval? Walker Thomas to the inside. Here he comes to the outside. Side by side through the tri-oval. The 14, it's going to be a photo finish to the line. Who's going to get it? Walker Thomas.
Machine coming out of turn number 4. Tiller looking to go 3 wide, almost 4 wide. He's going to try to look for a gap. Bobbing and weaving for the lead down through the tri-oval.
Photo finish.
2x2. The 65 gets the win. welcome race fans back to PTR TV here tonight from the Daytona International Speedway, the Rivalry Racing Championship Series here with the Truck Series, the National Championship Truck Series here tonight, and their season opener here at Daytona, and well, this should be a really good show. Plenty of trucks here ready to race tonight. I'm Brandon Krutz. Joining me as always is Corey Silva. Corey Silva doubling as our tech producer every night, and also behind the scenes is Joe Chris. So you know, this should be a really good show, Corey. Daytona, you got about 30 trucks ready to go racing tonight. It'll be fun.
Yeah, most certainly, Brandon. We obviously covered a lot of Daytona recently with the start of a lot of new seasons here on iRacing and on PTR TV, and a very interesting series that we will be bringing you in about 13 to 14 races on Thursday nights. We are bringing you Rivalry Racing. This is a college football themed truck series, so you will notice that every single paint scheme on these trucks is college based, so you will see the drivers racing for their teams and also representing their favorite teams in the real world.
Yeah, absolutely. So interesting aspect from this league, but the racing still pretty good. We did cover one race for these guys, and I believe it was their Homestead Championship race last season for these guys, and well, back around with their season opener for the Truck Series here, and we'll be covering them all season this time around.
Yeah, a very diverse group of drivers, very diverse group of tracks, so it will be an interesting season of coverage here, so you want to make sure you stay tuned Thursday nights for the action. But qualifying is pretty much completed. These drivers are wrapping up their drivers meeting, and we will have the grid for you very shortly.
So just a couple moments left before these guys get ready to go racing here, and they'll get lined up on the grid. Looks like things just starting to wrap up now.
Yep, that is the changeover, so we will get the grid ready for you and get tonight's race started. Here is the starting lineup for the Rivalry Racing season opener, the Daytona 250, here on Primetime Racing TV at the World Center Racing Daytona. On tonight's pole is Matthew Walzenbeck, a lap of 50.338. We offer him our congratulations. And then Chris Akers to the outside. We have Richard Holland in third, Bradley Cooper in fourth. Fifth position, you'll find Matt Hoover, and sixth is Davis Richards. And then we have Travis McDaniel, Cole Borgstadt, Zachary Carter, and Michael DeBetz, the top 10.
Starting in the 11th position here tonight is Chad Martin. Then it's Brandon Stokes, Patrick Howard, Joseph McWhorter, Chris Matthews, Ricky Fergande. There it is. And David Weishart, Phil Gary, Byron Ward, and Gary Grant rounding out the top 20.
And I want to give a shout out to David Weishart. He is the champion from last season and also won our Primetime Racing TV Pro Driver Clash a couple weeks ago, so want to give a shout out to him. In 21st, we have Robert Victory, and then Sean Dower 22nd. Brooks Potts in 23rd, Brandon Wilson 24th. Then we have Brady Campbell, Chris Siedenfaden, I believe, in 26th. Sorry, Chris, if I butchered that for you. And that is the 26 truck field here at Daytona.
So 26 trucks on the grid here, ready to start the season opener for the Rivalry Racing League. And boy, oh boy, should it be a good show here tonight.
Yeah, we do know in these trucks that they are extremely competitive in the draft. They can go 2, 3, 4 wide. Well, maybe not so much 4 wide at Daytona, but they most certainly can suck up and be really racy. Race format here tonight for the Rivalry Racing. It is a full fuel load of these machines, so they should have, I'm going to assume, about a 40-ish lap range. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. And then one backup car, one fast repair available. We are driving fixed setups, and as I mentioned, as you can see from the cameras, a college football themed league, so you will see that on all of these trucks. This car has exited the pit road, and these 26 machines will, 26 machines rather, will hit the high banks of Daytona for their season opener. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to Primetime Racing TV. If you're new to the channel and you follow the Rivalry Racing League, make sure you like and subscribe to us. That way you can be with these guys and us every Thursday night and not miss a minute of the action.
Pace car is rolling down through turns 1 and 2 now. Pace speed, about 80 miles an hour here. These guys getting stacked up, doubled up, ready to go back. Green flag racing here for the season opener.
Down the back straightaway, it'll be the Daytona 250. As we said, 100 laps of racing tonight. Weather conditions, nothing out of the ordinary. 78 degrees in the air, 78 degrees on the track. No, pretty negligible wind and humidity. So that is the conditions tonight. Obviously, we are under the lights here at Daytona, so that'll add a little bit more grip and help these drivers out. But we enter turn number 3 and 4, and we are a half lap from racing.
These guys have been waiting for a little while now to go back racing here with Rivalry Racing, their National Championship Truck Series here tonight, back on the racetrack. 26 trucks ready to go back racing here. It should be a good one. Pace car gets ready to make its way down into the Daytona pit lane. The 29, Matthew Welsenbach, going to be starting this thing off. Pace car is off. Green flag is in the air. We're underway for the first time of the season.
Very good start by both drivers. The front row is completely even. If anything, a little bit of an advantage to Chris Akers, but there is a gap to the second row of trucks. We'll see which one of those gets closed up first.
Heading down into turn number 1 now. Now the 29 has the advantage on the bottom. A little bit better formed up is the bottom line. Lots of close racing. 31 gets sandwiched. 9 car almost makes contact with a 5 on the outside.
Couple trucks straddling the apron there in 1 and 2. You got to avoid that because that will hook you around. But as we go down the back straightaway, 2 wide pace lap formation still goes through the entire field. Entering turn number 3, the 54, a little bit of an edge.
Heading down into turn number 3 now. 9 car, little bit up and down the racetrack right now. Kind of got to watch that. I know it's hard to see around these vehicles, but 31 machine doing a really good job pushing the 29. 29 has the advantage out front. He'll lead lap 1.
First lap of the season goes to the number 29, Matthew Welsenbach. We are familiar with that name in other leagues that we do cover, but off of the top groove, Chris Akers gets the run through the tri-oval. He'll get the lead, drop to the bottom.
Oh, 54 slides up the racetrack a little bit, maybe trying to defend that top line. Not going to work that time by. Now the 5 truck slips out on the outside. He's going to try to get even.
Everybody doing the best they can, but going 2 wide. Nobody has gone 3 wide yet. A little bit too early for that in this very long race, but to the outside, the 5 machine, Bradley Cooper, he has the position on the number 54 on the inside, so he's going to do the best he can on the outside, try to get the run.
Heading down off the corner now down on a turn number 4, 54 right in the middle. He's gonna get sucked in the middle. 29 to the bottom of the racetrack. Nobody going to 54 machine.
Chris Akers stuck in the middle. He's got to be really careful. Daytona is not that wide of a racetrack, so you have to be really careful. In the sucker hole in the middle, he'll do the best he can. 5 machine may have cleared, allow him to go to back double file formation.
Oh, they gotta be careful.
Yeah, they did not give each other much room at all there. They're still 3 wide in the pack off of turn number 2.
Heading down the back straightaway now back 2 by 2. A little bit of 3 wide behind them. No big deal here for Daytona International Speedway. Welsenbach at the bottom in the 29 machine. Cooper up on top of the 5 machine trying to get something done. Now 31 machine now trying to push 29 up front.
3 wide has kind of sufficed down a little bit, so these drivers may be using a little bit of their heads to try to make sure they do not have an early wreck, but at the start-finish line, I think we're going to give it to Matthew Welsenbach by a fender on the inside groove, still side by side for the first 5 rows.
Richard Holland, 31 machine, still trying to push Welsenbach out front, and the 54 machine of Akers is trying to get that top line going, led by the 5 machine of Cooper. These guys a little bit squirrely now 9 car, thought it was going to move up the lane, that was close. Now heading down the back straightaway, down past the road course bus stop here, which is going to be Welsenbach at the bottom with the advantage.
Still 2 by 2. It looks like who's that? The number 90 machine, Cole Borgstad, took a little bit of a look to the top groove. He decided to go back in the middle, stay in double file formation as we exit the turn. A little bit of a gap there after about the 6th place car, I believe, Cole Borgstad. See a little bit of a gap, maybe 2 packs starting to form.
31 machine right on the back, bumper to 29 now down into turn number 1. Welsenbach with the advantage on the bottom, but I do expect the high side to start coming into play once these tires get warmed up just a little bit more. Once the tires get worn in a little bit more, they can use that momentum on the high side as they head down the back straightaway now.
Walzenbeck has a 1 truck length lead on the outside groove, but that is no longer. Bradley Cooper getting the surge on the outside groove. He is now side by side yet again with the push from Chris Akers in the 54. Cole Borgs for that in the 90 up top as well is Michael Tibet's behind him. 4 trucks to the outside, 5 on the inside.
Heading down through the Daytona Tri-Oval, now 31, looking really low underneath Welzenbeck. That was a close call. Gotta watch the bumpers here on these things. The truck bumpers probably line up a little bit better than the B cars or the A cars here on the iRacing service, but still gotta be careful of that.
Yeah, you most certainly need to. You cannot afford to get a bumper hook, but the trucks are a little bit more lenient with that, as Brandon stated. But we come down the back straightaway. I think the 5 may have him cleared on the outside groove. Will he drop down? He will not. He will stay on the outside with Chris Akers, allow the inside to get the run on the center of the turn.
He didn't want to take the risk. That gap closed really quickly. Welzenbeck now completely clear of the 5 machine down on the low side. 31 still behind him, trying to give him a push. Cooper still on the high side, leading that high lane.
Yeah, and Brandon, we most certainly have 2 packs right now as you go towards the end of the front pack. It looks like there is a little bit of a gap between the 51 truck, I do believe that is, of Davis Richards, and right behind him, Patrick Howard. About 3 or 4 truck lengths, but I think that is starting to evaporate.
Yeah, not too bad of a gap right now. Those guys can easily catch up as we see some of the guys going single file. That'll help quite a bit back there for that second pack to catch back up.
Yep, so the front row has not changed. It is still Matthew Walzenbeck running that inside groove. He is managing to lead the majority of the laps, but the outside does most certainly have the ability to pass him at the right opportunity with the right help, and that looks like it may be coming right now. The 54, a very good shot to the back bumper of Bradley Cooper, giving him the lead of the line.
Locking bumpers down into turn number 1 now. Great push from the 54 machine back there to the 5 car. Cooper, Welzenbeck on low side, 31, trying to give the 29 a shove now down into turn number 2.
Cole Borgstad again. I don't know if he's going for air or if he's going to try to make it past 3 wide up top, but he is really kind of maneuvering up the track off the back bumper of the 54 in the middle of the turns, but they do carry on. You can see the 54 right to the bumper of the 5, not giving him an inch, giving him the best draft possible.
Heading down off turn number 4 now. Gonna head down through the tri-oval. These trucks do get really light through the tri-oval here. Got to be careful with the bushing and shoving here, but it looks like the 5 machine not quite gonna clear the 29 that time by. May have him cleared down into turn number 1, but looks like Welzenbeck had a little bit of a run. That's gonna cease down now.
The 5 has the run, but it looks like he is very loyal to the 54 machine up top right now, so he's allowing Walzenbeck to use the inside lane to pull side by side yet again. As you can see the shuffling down the back straightaway. Do we have some 3 wide? Yes, we do.
3 wide for the lead down the back straightaway now. Looks like he's not going to have any help. Borgstad, the 90 machine, gonna shoot low, trying to maybe push that 5 car into the 2nd position now. Now 5 back to 3rd position now. Borgstad look to go up top, not going to happen that time by. Chris
Akers is the lone man up top right now. He's getting shuffled back. He wasn't going for the lead. He will go back to about the 8th or 9th position as he gets back in line, double file formation. So now the top groove will be in the hands of Bradley Cooper in the 5 machine with the help from Borgstad in the 90.
29-31, still on the low side, top 2 on the low side. High side is the 5 and the 90 helping each other out now. It looks like the bottom is struggling a little bit. The 33, or the 23 rather, all over the back bumper of the 90. Cole Borgstad kind of in a sandwich right now.
Almost some contact with the 31 and the 29 there. A lot of shake up there between Holland and Walzenbeck on the end of the turn. Also the 9 of Matt Hoover, a little bit erratic in his movements in 3 and 4, kind of caused a little bit of a shake up. Looks like the 29 and the 31 will clear the outside groove at the stripe.
31 Holland all over the back bumper of Welzenbeck now into turn number 1. The 5 of Cooper has a pretty good run onto the outside. Borgstad falls off his back bumper. That's going to hurt him through the center of the corner. See if he can get back there on exit. That'll give a huge run to the outside.
Yeah, the outside is needing some help.
Welzenbeck may have almost got stuck in the middle there.
Yeah, there was a lot of erratic movement down the back straightaway that caused a little bit of a shakeup. I thought a wreck was going to happen, but everyone does manage to clear through. Outside lane has kind of evaporated, but it looks like more trucks are deciding to go up there. We only had 3 for a minute. Borgstad 3 wide to the outside.
leaves the 5 of Cooper in the dust, but now Cooper's got help for the rest of the line.
Yeah, Tibbetts is helping Cole up on the top groove in the number 23 machine. That's going to give Borgstedt the lead on the third lane entering turn number 1, but this is a tight situation. Daytona is very narrow for this kind of racing, but these drivers doing an excellent job pulling it off.
3 by 3 here at Daytona. These guys fighting early in this race. A little bit of contact between Wells and back and the 9 machine that time down the back straight away. Very close call, very scary. Oh, and now the 9 goes up across the nose of 90. They're wrecking big time down into turn number 3.
Yeah, that's the big one. I see the 9, the 90, the 1, the 23, the 20. No. That is the big one at Daytona. Go back here on PTR TV replay and figure out what we can about that incident.
The 9 looked like
the 9 machine. Well, the 9 machine
all the way up against the outside wall.
Yeah, that's Matt Hoover in the 9. Borgstedt was in the 3rd groove, and the 9 just came up across his nose. Nothing really the 90 could do in that situation, and you're going to see the after effect of that. About 7, maybe 8 trucks have significant damage, but remember, in this league they do have backup trucks. They can go to that as a last-ditch resort if there's too much damage.
I was a little bit worried about that. There was a lot of big movement going on from the 9 machine there, and he just moved up the racetrack a little bit too far. Borgstedt was already up there, maybe thought it was clear, but unfortunately the 90 machine already up there causes the big one here at Daytona.
And some very exciting racing in the 12 laps we did run under green flag conditions. But Brandon, do you think that maybe a little overly, as exciting as it was, maybe a little over the top this early in the race?
Well, these trucks can get very, very racy, but I do think that these guys maybe need to calm it down a little bit this early in the race. It's a 100-lap race, and we're only at lap 13. There's plenty of time left.
Yeah, it is very easy, very eager to make those moves when they are on the table, but sometimes you have to kind of tone yourself back a little bit. But regardless of that, we are on lap number 13, taking 14, and everyone's down pit road. See if any strategy is played. I'm assuming we will see some, whether it be fuel only, 2 tires, 4 tires, see if anything shakes up and see what everyone does decide to do.
I mean, personally, at this point of the race, if you're in the back, I may take fuel only. I mean, you're only on lap 13 lapable tires. It's nothing here for Daytona.
Yeah, not at all, and especially where we only have 14 laps. Remember, there is a full fuel load in these machines, so they can go approximately 40 or so laps on their tanks of fuel. And this will be a 2-stop race, really, no matter how you shake it. So, I mean, we could see some strategy played out. It looks like the only one willing to play some massive strategy was the 92. He is the only one that did stay out. Out of that incident, we do have 3 drivers that have gone off of the lead lap, maybe 4, as Patrick Howard in the 89 is in the pits right now fixing some heavy damage. I think he is going for the repair as opposed to the backup truck. But we have Zachary Carter in the 1, Michael Tibbetts in the 23, and Bryant Ward in the 44, all multiple laps down at this point. That will leave us, by mathematics, 22 trucks on the lead lap as we are under caution. We will step away momentarily for the first side-by-side break and be back with you for the restart. So stay with us here on PTR TV.
I grew up in Northern California. My parents were just really big race fans and took my sister and I to, sprint car races pretty much every Friday and Saturday night. So I did outlaw kart racing from 7 till I was 14. And then that's when I got into 360 and 410 wing sprint cars. There's just something about dirt racing that's just, you can't get anywhere else. I enjoy going back to race them whenever I can. I get to run about 20 to 25 dirt races a year and try and put on a show every time I'm there.
Battle for the lead. Kyle Larson to the inside of Shane Stewart. Slide job, no. Larson unable to complete the pass. He'll follow Shane Stewart down the back straightaway. Stewart makes the move to the inside of Craig Kinser. Kyle Larson goes around the outside out of turn 4. You've got a new race leader. Kyle Larson from 9th leads on lap number 23.
I'm probably just a little more relaxed, I guess, at the dirt track just because it's for fun, where the NASCAR stuff, it's points racing and a lot bigger sponsors and stuff you have to please and all that. You're there for 3 days a week, so your approach is a little bit different there, where sprint cars, you're there for 5 or 6 hours and moving on to the next racetrack. So I've been on iRacing, I think, since 2009 or 10. Yeah, I remember, starting out, as a rookie on there, in the Legends and the late models and stuff like that. And that was fun to, have to try and get your licenses up and stuff. But it's amazing to me how, now that I get to race on a lot of the tracks that are on there, how to the T, similar because of the laser scanning and stuff like that. So all the bumps and all the visual aspects of it are very good. So when I first got to like K&N and then the Nationwide Series at the time, I would race iRacing all the time to learn as much as I could about the racetrack before I went to the actual racetrack to race. So to me, it's just for fun now. So I enjoy going on there. Actually, I don't enjoy going on there all the time because I don't win a lot. So it's frustrating to see myself struggle to run top 10 in an Xfinity race or something like that and get beat by Logan Seavey every time I run a sprint car. So the level of competition on iRacing is better than real life. You've got thousands of drivers on there that, a lot of them are probably better than the people you see on TV. They just haven't had the opportunities to make it, but can kick butt on there, and you can spend all day long running thousands of laps a day, so you can get yourself, really good at it. So competition level is just unbelievable, really, on there. Everybody's been asking for dirt on there for forever. So when they announced it, I got really, really excited. And honestly, it's blown my expectations away. The cars, to me, drive really good when the track's hooked up. The visual part of the racetrack changing is amazing. How you can run some laps and see it start to get shiny, and then you feel it getting slick.
And welcome back to PTR TV. We're here for the season opener of the Rivalry Racing League Truck Series College Football League at Daytona for the Daytona 250. Lights are out on the pace car as we had a little bit of an extended yellow as a couple drivers were able to get their laps back via league rules, but we are ready to go here in 1 lap's time. Matthew Walzenbeck will be the leader on the inside lane.
So lights on the pace car are out. These guys stacked up, doubled up, ready to go back. Green flag racing here, and maybe that first wreck was a little bit of a wake-up call, Corey.
Yeah, a lot of times we will see kind of an like a hectic start as we did, and eventually there will be a wreck, and a lot of time people will kind of be like, hey, we need to tone it back. I don't want to ruin my truck. I want to be there at the end. So we'll see if that happens, or we'll see if we have some more 3-wide racing. We'll see what happens, but I do want to give a quick shout out to our camera specialists. Forgot to do it earlier. Track Cam 4 Gourmets. If you like the views that you do see around Daytona and all of the other broadcasts we bring to you on PTR TV, go check out Track Cam 4 Gourmets. Talk to Istvan, facebook.com/trackcams or trackcams22.com. You can potentially have the same views yourself as we have on tonight's broadcast.
So pace car slowly leading these guys through turns 3 and 4 now.
Walzenbeck to the inside. Chris Sutton fading on the outside in the 62. Then we have Sean Dower and Bradley Cooper populating row number 2 as the pace car exits turn number 4 and heads into the tri-oval. We will watch it pull into pit road and get this race underway. There it is. Leader has discretion, and there it is, green flag in the air. We're back underway for Rivalry Racing. 62 getting a heck of a push from the 5 of Bradley Cooper on the outside lane as the outside drops back as the help is not there right now. 5 giving him the best push he can, getting it wound back up. and they'll see if they can pull side by side with the lead. I think they're going to be able to do so.
Heading down through turns 1 and 2, now 24. Now on the back bumper to 29, a little bit different partner than what he's had all night. That's going to be Sean Dorr onto the inside there, trying to push the 29 up front. Cooper back now pushing the 62 machine. That's going to be Sutton Fadden.
Yeah, Brandon, I thought the outside was going to be a little better off on that restart. I was completely wrong, as there's only the 62 and the 5 up there. The 54, Chris Akers, is doing his best to get there, but he is not there yet. Has 3 trucks behind him, so they will have to get assembled together and give the outside lane a chance, because right now Walzenbeck has the lead single-handedly, but watch out at the exit of the trioval. Looks like a little bit of run forming up there.
Yeah, it looks like those guys starting to get gathered up just a little bit up on the high side now. Now, gonna try to put up a little bit of a challenge to the bottom lane. 51 kind of drifting up the racetrack a little bit. Everything A-okay so far. Walzenbeck's got company.
The 5, the 62, and the 54, all tight quarters. Those 3 are in a trio session up top, doing the best drafting they can. And the 62, a Seidenfaden, is going to drop to the bottom and leave them hanging, as he was able to clear and take the lead.
Heading down off of turn number 4 now. Now heading down the front straightaway. 62 trying to look to get to the lead now. Now 24 going to be running on the back bumper to the 29.
Yeah, the only other driver in the top lane right now is Davis Richards in the 51, trying to get to the back bumper of the 54 to help him and the 5. And you can see a lot of single file racing in a very sporadic top groove. There's only one other driver back there, and he is quite a ways back.
Down the back straightaway now. Now Cooper up on a high side, trying to put up a challenge to the 62 machine. 54 right on his back bumper.
Brandon, something that I do want to bring up quickly is I do see, I believe, a second pack, and I'm not sure if it's on purpose or because it's via damage, but all the way in the back here you see Bryant Ward, Cole Borgstad, Ricky Fernande, and Shed Martin just kind of hanging back here about 5-6 seconds back, and I don't see any significant damage on any of those vehicles. But I'm wondering if they're just trying to play it safe.
It could be. They could have lost the draft due to trying to get around damaged vehicles. It's hard to say, but more than likely are pretty safe back there if we do have another wreck.
But up front, nothing has changed. Pace lap formation is carrying on down the back straightaway. We still see the 54 and the 5 going at it. 62 on the inside lane as well in the lead position at the moment, but the top may clear. Does the 5 drop down, or does he remain a loyal teammate? Looks like he will stay up top and continue drafting with the 54 and the 51.
Down off of turn number 4 now. Now Cooper is cleared. He's going to stay up top with the 54 machine. Now 29, Walzenbeck's got to run to the inside. Maybe going to get the 62 machine to push.
You can see here on the rear deck lid of the number 5 machine of Bradley Cooper how little space there is between him and the 54 of Akers. They are drafting as close as you possibly can. You can see that the 5 getting a little bit squirrely, perhaps a little bit of bumper hooking going on, but enough that he can hang on to it.
Heading down the back straightaway now. 5-car Cooper still has the advantage on the high side. He hasn't moved down yet, which is a little bit surprising to me.
Yeah, there's obviously some kind of team action going on up top there, at least there seems to be. We'll check here on the graphic. The number 5 drive for Outcast Motorsports, in the 54 of Akers drives for Jaeger Racing, so completely different partners up top. They've just developed kind of a race alliance at the moment, apparently. Right now we are near 1/4 distance through tonight's race in the Daytona 250, and the lead pack consists of approximately 13 drivers. Last one in line is Phil Gary in the 68. We will go back a little ways to Robert Victory in the 7, leading about a 6-truck pack. They are 2.5 seconds off the lead. That is tail-ended by Chris Matthews. Then, as I mentioned earlier, we have Bryant Ward leading this backpack, who are now 10 seconds off the lead.
62 on the low side up front. 5-car kind of lost the advantage that he had up on the high side now. Now low side trying to get it done, trying to get even with the higher groove. It looks like the higher lane kind of playing out a little bit better tonight at Daytona.
Yeah, Brandon, it is definitely as such. I was not expecting that. A lot of time in night conditions, there's more grip, which does favor the bottom, but it seems like these drivers did a really good job drafting, are able to make that outside work. As we come down the back straightaway, the 5 again has the truck length to clear, but he is holding that outside. But we will go through turns number 3 and 4 here, and we'll turn up the engine sounds and allow you to feel the thunder here of the Rivalry Racing League. Hope you enjoyed that new segment we've been bringing to you recently here on PTR TV, but back to the action. Quarter distance has been completed in the race, and Chris Akers in the 54 is leading on the inside lane. And to the outside, you now find Davis Richards going for the lead.
51 truck on the outside lane now heading down the back straightaway here. 54 on the inside. Matthew Welsenbach, who was trying to get the lead up on the inside, now back at the end of this thing. 62 back there as well with him. 24 up on the high side.
Yeah, only 3 drivers up there, Brandon, so I don't know how well they're going to be able to hang on, but they're doing the best job they can at staying on top and getting the position at the line. Sean Dower will have the lead off the help of Matt Hoover and Brandon Stokes up top, but that is all that is up there, as actually Welsenbach has taken it back to the top.
Looks like Byron Ward his connection fell through from the server. He is connecting back onto the race now, trying to get back in this thing, so that's just a quick side note there. Oh, almost a bumper hook to the 24 machine from the 9. We saw the 9 already, get involved in another yellow flag here tonight already, so he's got to be a little bit more careful about his movements here.
Yeah, you really have to be careful. You have to kind of predict where the other driver is going to run in front of you. If he's kind of erratic in his movements, you can't run as close to the back of him. If he's a little bit smoother, maybe you can be a little more aggressive, but you have to be really tentative in the driver's seat when you make that decision. The lead pack now consists of 9 drivers. You can see a little bit of a gap has formed between, who is that there, the number, I believe at the 32 machine, Joseph McWhorter has dropped back a little bit off the lead pack, about a half second off of Chris Seidenfaden in the 62.
Oh, the 9 car gets shoved out of line, almost up to the outside wall there. He's gonna try to squeeze Welsenbach down the racetrack, not gonna work.
The 9 is all the way in no man's land in the 3rd groove right now as Welsenbach gets himself back to the bottom of the racetrack. The number 5 machine is also clearing the number 9 of Hoover on the outside. He will drop to the back of this pack, but up front, 24 of Sean Dower still doing the best he can to hang up there with Brandon Stokes as they approach a lapper. Someone going one lap down.
Stay high.
He will get as high out of the way as he can. Very respectful of him doing so, but leaders do funnel down to the inside, clear him, enter turn number 3, and the 24 still has a little bit of an edge on the outside groove. Looks like that second pack, they may have lost a little bit of a gap. There's a little bit of a kind of a cutoff gap where if you lose that draft at a certain point, you cannot get it back. I do think the 32 has dropped to no man's land right now. I think this second pack will start to fall off as the gap between Seidenfaden and McWhorter is about 0.7 of a second. You're going to really have to work hard to get it. It looks like the 62 of Seidenfaden is actually starting to drop off as well.
Yep, looks like He was last car in line, Corey, and I think he tried to pull a move and ended up losing the draft. So this lead pack narrowed down. Now 54 right into the back bumper to 51 once again. Now the 11 car up onto the back bumper of the 24. The 11 car going high to the 9 machine now.
Yeah, that's Brandon Stokes in the number 11. He is now on the third groove right now, but with no help, dropped to the back of this. A little bit of a shake and bake move there between the 24 and the 9. That was a little bit shaky looking, but they managed to get through it. The outside has lost its momentum off turn number 2, but actually here comes the 24 with the side draft by himself, pulls door to door.
So now the high lane kind of lost some cars. It looks like the 11 car starting to fall back now.
Yes, he has. He's dropped to the back of Chris Seidenfaden in the 62 as we have another single truck who will go one lap off the pace in short time here as the 24 does get the lap at the stripe. They will funnel down to the inside as they pass. Who is that machine? The number 41. Number 41 at Ched Martin goes one lap off the pace. Right now we have 9 drivers in this first, well, 8 drivers rather in this first pack. We have 4 drivers in this second little pack that is right on the cusp of gaining into the first pack. Our other pack that is led by Robert Victory, now 5.5 seconds off the lead. And then our third pack, if you will, Brandon Wilson kind of driving by himself with Brady Campbell. That's 17th and 18th. They are 12 seconds off the lead. Then Ricky Fagonde and Cole Borgstedt. Who else? We have a couple of other drivers in there. They are now 16 seconds off the lead.
So, round goes the 51 down to the center of the lead pack. Caution flag is out, turned by the 9.
That is Davis Richards in the 51. Was at the front of the pack, got taken out. We'll see exactly what happened before we kind of make any kind of guesses. You can see in the tri-oval, he had the number 9 machine. It was all over his back bumper. He did back off, allowed him some space. We into turn number 1. And the 9 was just a little bit overly aggressive on the back bumper. Brought him around. Go here on, we'll go on to the back bumper cam of the 51 of Richards. You can see here the drafting that was going on between him and the 9 machine of Matt Hoover. The more I look at that, I wonder if there was a little bit of internet latency involved in that, as netcode as we call it shorthand. It was a little bit hard to see, but I think it may have been, it looked a little worse at original thought than it did when we actually dissected it. But regardless, 51 is not looking too great. Actually, to be honest, Brandon, he doesn't look that bad.
No, not too bad.
This brings out the caution lap 34, second caution of the night. Sean Dower in the 24 is the leader at this point. He has led 7 laps thus far as we compile behind the iRacing pace car in turns number 1 and 2. Our lead lap drivers is now 21 at the moment. Ched Martin should be the one to get the lucky dog. Now, something that we did bring as some drivers down pit lane. We just got word that Davis Richards did blow up some terminal engine damage in that 51 machine. Not sure if he has a reset, if he has his backup truck, but just found that live information out. So unfortunate break for the 51, who was up front battling for the lead. But pit stop's now underway. And we'll see what kind of strategy plays on pit lane. Like 24, first one out. Like 4 tires and fuel from everybody this time by on lap number 35. So under caution, lap number 36 here, and something that we may see again. We saw it under the first yellow. There is a little bit of a, I don't know how I want to word it. There's a rule in the league that, as we are racing on the internet, if somebody does drop out of the server, if somebody loses connection to the race that we are in, if they are able to reconnect within reasonable time, they will be graced with the laps back, so that they get back into the position they were running when they had their problem. And I do think Brandon mentioned earlier that somebody did have that circumstance happen, so we may see a little bit of a delayed yellow while he gets his position back.
Yeah, it was Bryant Ward that had that issue, and they're working on getting his laps back as we speak. So maybe a little bit of an extended caution period, but see how it goes. And
it is a, just for those who are watching and may be curious of that, it is a one-time deal. So they're not gonna, if there's kind of a recurring issue with the internet for that driver of Ward or whoever else, they're not gonna just postpone the race indefinitely. They will give him this one free pass at that, and then after that, he's kind of on his own, if you will. If you did watch us here on PTR TV a couple weeks ago, we brought to you, I believe it was on February 8th, we brought to you the Pro Driver Clash, where we had a couple Camping World truck drivers. We had a couple Xfinity Series drivers with us for that night of racing, and a couple Rivalry racing drivers were in that race. Most notably, the number 21 machine of David Weishart. We gave him a shout out on the grid, but he was the winner of that race, per the most, what's the word I'm looking for in this situation, Brandon? The most touted race we've had on the channel, and something that we look forward to doing in the future, so we want to give him that shout out for that. He was also the champion for season 1 of Rivalry Racing, and he got a commemorate champions plaque, which I saw it on Facebook. Actually, was a really nice prize, so something that they do for the champions in this Rivalry Racing League.
Absolutely. It looks like these guys are going to get ready to go back green flag racing here. Lights are out on the pace car. These guys will get stacked up, doubled up, and ready to go back green flag racing.
We now have, after all said and done, I believe we have 22 drivers now on the lead lap. Ward may be still 1 lap down, I believe, after all said and done. So 22 drivers on the lead lap. We have 3 drivers 1 lap down, as Davis Richards, remember at the 51, he was able to pull out the backup truck, but he was not able to stay on the lead lap, so he will hope for another caution and be able to get back onto the lead lap. But we come through 3 and 4, and we will take the restart on lap number 38.
So 24, Sean Dewar up in the lead right now. Here on the low side, up above him is the 5 car, Bradley Cooper. Pace car getting ready to make its way down into pit road once again here for the restart. Off it goes. These guys, green flag back to the air. We're underway once again. Heading down into turn number 1 now 24 versus the 5. The top line not formed up at all. That's going to leave a big disadvantage to 5 and Cooper.
Yeah, Cooper by himself, but that is actually no longer. Richard Holland in the 31. Remember, he was in the championship 4 at Homestead last season. He has gotten the back bumper of the 5 of Cooper, doing the best they can, but they need more help than just the 2 of them.
Yeah, absolutely no help there right now. Looks like these guys maybe trying to go single file. We've already had a couple of wrecks and not even the halfway point of this race yet.
Halfway point is approaching, but we have not reached that yet. We still have 12 laps to get there, 11 this time by. Sean Dower has the lead on the inside groove, but they're still fighting for it on the outside, and it looks like they may be getting some more help. Big move by the 11. Brandon Stokes takes it to the outside groove, but he lost his momentum while doing that move, so he drops back a couple truck lengths, as there is also a big gap between the 62 and the 32 of Joseph McOrder. So the top 4 kind of in their own little bubble at the moment. As the 5 clears, it drops to the bottom, leaving Holland by himself up top.
The 31 left out in the dust right now. He does have a couple of trucks back there, but they're all the way back at the end of this line. They're trying to gain some ground on the load line now, but these guys are going to lose a lot of positions right now.
Yeah, and remember before the yellow, we were really separated. We had about 4 or 5 separate packs, all containing about 5 to 8 trucks. But with this yellow, everyone's under a blanket. Everyone is one happy family, one large pack again. So we will see if we do have a little bit of separation. But we can see up front a little bit of single file, top 4 single file for the moment. That is already over with.
Yeah, now a couple of trucks jumping up to the outside. Now to 24 of Sean Dewar jumps up to the outside line. They're going to be back 2 by 2 by 2.
24 taking a stab for the lead. He's been leading quite a bit of this race. He wants more of it. He goes to the outside groove. He has help from the number 32, Joseph McWhorter on the outside. We'll see who gets it at the stripe. Back to pace lap formation at 195 miles an hour.
The 5 car, Cooper holds off that time by 24. Sean Dewar up on the high side, trying to take the lead away.
Yeah, at the moment, the outside it's almost there. They just need a little bit more momentum to get wound up and get that side draft as the 62 kind of washes up, almost doors the 24 off of turn number 2. He luckily did not do so. He continues side by side down the back straightaway, and here comes the run from the 24. Gets a nose ahead entering turn 3. Side by side through 3 and 4, everybody kind of remains in their same formation as the 62 kind of looks a little bit to the bottom. Thought he was going to peek 3 wide to the inside. Maybe he was just getting some air on the radiator. We continue side by side at the line. The 5 will still have the run at the stripe.
Cooper on the low side, and now 62. He had a big run to the back moment of the 5 car. The 5 left out lane open. I thought he was going to get left at us there, but he managed to close it back up. Now 24, Sean Dewar on the high side trying to get something done.
Yeah, 24 is still door to door with the leader on the inside groove right now, but they are pretty much, no one can get an advantage at this point. Everybody is kind of running identical and just kind of trading inches each lap around.
Cooper still has the advantage. Now, it seems like Cooper can pretty much be fast wherever he wants to be here tonight. And, you know, he's driving the truck very well as he gets pushed all the way out clear on the 24 now. We've seen him run high and low here and be able to hold the advantage over the rest of these guys. So awesome job for the 5 machine so far tonight.
Yeah, he is really kind of working both sides of the highway, trying to block both lanes, and he did not, unfortunately, get to the top lane in time, so that will give the 24 yet another surge to the outside. He's
something to point out quick, Corey, now that you brought up blocking. Blocking is not allowed until the final, I believe it's the final 5 laps of the race. That
is correct by the rule book, so you really have to watch how you decide to maybe block the momentum and try to gain the runs off of the other lines. It is not permitted 2-5 to go, so you really have to watch out for that. But we take lap number 44, and the 5 Cooper still has the edge.
These guys, they're still racing pretty
so 3
aggressively,
wide, Brandon,
Corey.
a little bit later on in the pack. I see the 501, Brandon Wilson. I think he was just getting to the end of the pack, but he was 3 wide as he dropped to the back.
These guys still racing fairly aggressively, Corey. These guys, they're really going to watch it because we've seen the over-aggressive movements here. That's how the first 2 wrecks were caused.
But overall, I am going to give a round of applause to these drivers for as hard as they are racing. I would expect that we would have had a bigger one than we've already had. We've had 2 minor skirmishes, one of about 5 trucks, one of about 2. So all in all, these drivers doing a fantastic job as we're still not even halfway in this race.
Sean Dewar looks like he dropped down to the low side in front of Cooper now. Now Dewar leading the low pack. 32 machine up at a high side trying to get something done. 62 gets shoved out of line down onto the apron.
I'm not sure if that was voluntary or if he was forced down there, but he will drop to the back of the pack. He's still on the apron. That's not where you want to be. As he merges back on the track, everyone gets around him, but lost all his momentum, and he'll lose the draft.
The front 3 trucks now single file here. Looks like these guys starting to stretch it out single out. As I say that, the 24, Sean Dewar, around goes the 31, upside down into the middle of the pack.
That's the big one, folks. Oh my God, someone flipping wildly to the inside there.
Oh man, oh man.
Looks like Richard Holland got the worst of that, I do believe. Let's go back here on replay and see what we can figure out. Looks like, see the 24 take a move to the top for the lead, and he just got into the right rear quarter panel of Richard Holland in the 31. Holland flipping wildly, and someone had a kind of a skirmish on the inside barrier there, but just looked like they just did not have enough space in the tri-oval there for the move that the 24 was making, and obviously we can see the end result.
Man,
that
man.
31, I'll tell you, Brandon, who was that flipped on the inside? But that 31, Brandon, that looked, I mean, I think it might be a little young for you, but a little old for you, rather. That Jeffrey Bodine's wreck here in 2000. The way that 31
no, I know exactly what you're talking about.
That 31,
yeah.
who, when he just kind of had some trucks bounce underneath him, that was the first thing that came to my mind.
Yeah, and mine as well, actually. Very scary wreck. Luckily, in the world of sim racing, driver safety is pretty much taken care of on its own.
I mean, unless you have an AccuForce wheel and you didn't let go of it.
With a full motion simulator, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any upside down motion simulators. I think those are still patent pending, but everybody will, well, let's see how many drivers we still do have. It looks like behind the pace car, we have, what is it, about 9 drivers immediately behind the pace car, led by, tail end by Phil Gary. I think we still have a good amount of the pack left. We don't know who has already used their backup truck, but a lot of drivers will most likely need it after that, as we have another round of pit stops. Joseph McWhorter is being scored as the leader, and he had a pretty good advantage on the field as he entered pit lane. Pit stop's complete, and who do we have out of pit road first there? I believe that's Chris. Oh, actually, Chris Matthews being scored the leader. Remember, he didn't pit last time with everybody else. He stayed on an extra lap or so. He is still on the speedway. Travis McDaniel being scored in second as the first driver off of pit road. Looks like he only did fuel only. And then as everyone else funnels out of the pits, we will take it to another commercial break here for the yellow flag. We will be back with you for the restart, so stay with us here on PTR TV.
Getting dirty, and then you get some cars run through there and it cleans off and gets grip back. It's nuts. The tear off feature is really cool. Watching the wing move backwards and forwards. I run with the virtual reality headset too, so being able to like look down and see everything, it looks extremely realistic. So yeah, it blew my expectations away. And it's only gonna get better, really.
Red Bull GRCs are now available on iRacing. I personally put my blood, sweat, and tears into this thing, developing the cars, the tracks, the dirt, making sure it is authentic as possible, and I really think you guys are going to love it. The best part is that this 600 horsepower Volkswagen Beetle is free to all members. So get signed up now and come race me online.
The yellow flag is out. Pit road is now open. Keep your eye on those gauges. We'll give you 4 tyres. 3, 2, 1, now. We're done. Get going.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, back to PTR TV. Lights are out on top of the base car, and these guys ready to go back green flag racing here.
Pretty sure you said welcome black, but if you didn't, that's what I heard. But anyways, we'll let it slide.
Well,
English is hard.
English is very hard.
The upcoming PTR TV t-shirt. English is hard. But leading this restart will be Travis McDaniel in the number 2. You will see the last season champion David Weishart on the outside of front row. First time they have been up front, but they will be leading him down for this restart.
Pace car ready to make its way down into pit lane. Off it goes. The 2 car on the front side on the pole. Green flag back in the air.
Everyone managing to get cleanly off of the restart that time by, but 21 to David Weishart by himself up the top. Cole Borgstedt in the 90. Remember, he was up front earlier, got involved in a couple wrecks. He is behind Weishart in the 21, and it's only them. Everybody else single file around the bottom.
Yeah, right now looks like Travis McDaniel, 2 machine out front, but he's got some company now. But Cooper gonna be left out in the dust.
Yeah, the 5 takes a look to the outside, but he did not have any help. He has the 21, but the 21 has a little head of steam. I thought he was going to go 3 wide, but didn't have the room to do so. He will get lined up behind the 5, as does Borgstedt, and they will try to do the best they can to push the top to the front.
3 cars trying to work together now on the top side here, and Cooper and the 5 machine leading that pack around.
Yeah, they have not quite got to the 2 of McDaniel yet. They need a little bit more help, maybe a little bit more momentum, as the bottom is the line to be at right now. But I'll tell you, behind the number 42 of Grant, Garrett Grant, Shed Martin has lost a little bit of time to him. That's going to slow the inside line down a little bit.
Heading down the back straightaway now down into turn number 1 for the couple of trucks that are working together up there. They're actually doing a really good job moving up with this bottom line here.
Yeah, it's 2 on 3, well 2 on 4 almost, as the 41 does get to the back bumper of the bottom line behind Garrett Grant. I'll tell you, I think everyone may be deciding this is the time in the race to kind of chill out and maybe buy some laps down. Nobody seems to want to push too hard up top.
Yeah, absolutely, especially after the couple cautions we've seen. We've already had 3 big wrecks here tonight, so these guys may be trying to keep it easy. And quick note, Sean Dewar taking it behind the wall.
Remember, he was up front going for it earlier in the race, but after the big one, he will take it behind the wall and wait till next week's race. But up front, The 5 has finally got the outside wound up. He finally has the advantage. He had it entering turn number 3. We'll see if he can get it at the stripe on the outside lane.
Cooper up on a high side. 3 trucks in both lanes right now working together. It's going to be the 232 and the 42 down on the low side. The 5, the 21, and the 90 up on a high side. Now the low side's got some more help. The 41 to the 62 making their way back down.
Yes, they are. They're to the inside groove, still only leaving those 3 trucks up top, and there's a little bit of a gap, maybe about a half second in between the number 44 of Bryant Ward and the 29 of Matthew Walzenbeck, who is leading the second pack on the outside groove as they are side by side. The halfway point has been eclipsed. We're on lap number 54, taking lap number 55, so we're on the second half of tonight's festivities here for Rivalry Racing and their season opener. At the stripe, we're going to give it again to League Administrator Travis McDaniel in the number 2 machine. He has led his 5th lap of the night, starting from the 7th position, but he is hanging on as the 5 still has the momentum up top with the help from the 21 and the 90.
2 car down the low side, 5 car up high. Looks like maybe a little bit of a connection issue for the 2 car there. Brief blink out of the front there. Everyone's scattered just a little bit. Everything keeps it clean and green though.
Yes, they do. And Brandon, I can see here from a distance, it looks like there is a second pack on the outside forming. I think that's the 44, Bryant Ward, I do believe. He's trying to get on the outside. He has a ways to go to get to the back of Borgstadt, but he is going to take a stab at it as the second pack has kind of morphed into the first pack, and we have a little bit larger field up front.
Yeah, looks like the bottom line, I thought they were at the advantage here, but the high line working some really good moves here. Now Cooper showing the strength out front.
And he had the lead. He had the clear ability to drop down, but Weishart and Borgstadt helped him out there. Looks like they are going to stay up top, and they're going to leave Borgstadt hanging.
Oh,
He's turned him.
Goes Cooper into the center of the pack. Big wreck.
He turned him, and we have trucks upside down.
Oh, my. Oh, more trucks upside down. They just keep piling in. What is going on? Hit the brakes, boys.
Yeah, well, let's go back here on replay. So we've been working out the replay tonight. Looks like we will have another circumstance of that. Let's go back and go down the back straightaway from the blimp cam. You can see here the Cooper and Weishart managed to clear, and the 21 of Weishart looks like he maybe had a little run to the inside of the 5 that maybe he didn't realize, and that turned him right around. Go on board here with the 21, and you can see a little bit of a hook that happened as he had, actually, yep, he had a run to the inside of the 5. 5 shut the door, and that spun him around, but I don't know if he had enough of a run to warrant diving it down there. That's kind of a black and white, kind of a gray area call. So we will just kind of call that and we'll just call that a thing, because I don't know who to call that on, and I don't want to poke the dramas, but I think that could have gone either way, so we'll just call that an unfortunate racing incident that took out a whole bunch of drivers. But Cole Borgstadt in the 90 being scored the leader right now at lap number 57, and he will be the Lone Ranger to stay on the speedway, other than the number 92 of Chris Matthews, who has stayed out for the majority of the race thus far on these caution flags. Looks like we have somebody getting a wave around the pace car up front.
Looks like Cole Borgstadt staying out.
Yep, and he has been on the speedway for 10 laps. Matthews been out for 9, but at this point in the race, Brandon, I still do think there is one more required pit stop. Those coming right now would probably be on the very, very edge of the fuel window, I do believe. So not too bad of a strategy, I don't believe, by the 90 and the 92. Looks like we do have some of our fans kind of chiming in, saying that they think that was a racing incident as well. I would definitely chime it up as that.
I would like, now that we have the opportunity, and someone who has been wanting to get interviewed by us for a very long time now, I would like to bring Cole Borgstad into the booth. Cole Borgstad, PTR TV, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
So, we've seen you kind of in and out of lead pack here. You know, how's your truck been feeling? Obviously, you're up in the lead now. You had a couple of close calls. What are you feeling out there?
Oh, well, my nerves are shot, especially from that 3 wide I went earlier.
Yeah, well, you know, like I said, a couple of really close calls for you here tonight. And, well, the number 90 truck, it does look strong out there. You know, you qualified up towards the front of the field tonight. So maybe, just maybe, we can see you on podium, if not victory lane.
Oh, well, I hope. I mean, it's all strategy now at this point. I mean, if there's one more caution, we might be able to make it off fuel. It's going to depend if there's one more caution or it's going to come down to.
What was your initial strategy going into this thing?
Try to get to the front and try to stay near the front. I was not expecting to have to push that envelope 3 wide for those laps, but I did. I was not ready to push it 3 wide that early in the race, but I kind of had to do it.
Yeah, we saw you involved in a wreck earlier, had to go back to the back of the pack, but you're back up front now. We'll see what you can do on this restart here and towards the end of this race. Good luck, have fun, and hopefully we'll get to interview you here at the end of this thing.
Well, yeah, hopefully.
All right, so that is Borgstad in the 90 machine, and while we're kind of on the vein of mid-race interviews, let's drag up another driver and see how his race is going. We can bring up, let's talk to Matthew Walzen back in the 29. All right, Matthew Walzenbeck, PTR TV, you got a copy, brother.
Hey, how's it going,
Good.
sir?
So we're used to seeing you on Cyber Racing Association on Mondays, so you kind of have the little bit of a heads up in the plate racing department here as we're with the Rivalry Racing League tonight. You're running in 4th after a really hectic race. You've led some laps. Talk about your race in a nutshell.
Basically just was, concentrating on, putting this Iowa State Cyclone Chevys up on the front road tonight for the start. And it was just kind of a hectic start there, my teammate Chris Akers and I just kind of wanted to be at the front a little bit. And then things just got a little hectic, so we actually came down to pit road. We both had to pee really bad. I mean, opportune moment under caution. We stood up, went, came back, rode in the back, realized we could catch the field. So just trying to save our positions and stuff. I know I had a little nose damage from some accidents, but it's not hurting me too much, so hopefully we can keep getting this 29 Chevy up to the front.
Yeah, I mean, you're doing a pretty good job. You've led 13 laps tonight. You started on the pole. You're still in very good position, so we're on 1 to go. We'll let you get back to it. Good luck for the rest of the race.
Thank you, sirs, and I still have my reset. Oh, yeah.
There you go. That is Matthew Walzenbeck in the number 29. It'll be a familiar name from you if you watch our Monday night broadcast of the Cyber Racing Association. He is a driver there, so he definitely knows how to plate race. So he may have a little bit of a one-up in that department, but we are ready for the restart. The 90 of Cole Borgstad, who we just talked to, is on the inside. Travis McDaniel on the outside in the 2 machine. You're on lap number 60, about to take lap number 61 here tonight. We have 12 drivers still on the lead lap, a couple drivers that are 1 lap down. Remember, we've had a lot of activity tonight with yellow flags and wrecked vehicles, but still a good amount of drivers that will be in this race remaining for the finish, hopefully. So the 90 truck of Cole Borgstad ready for the restart. Pace car is in, and we're back underway for the Rivalry Racing League.
Pace car ready to make its way into pit lane.
You're on replay, Brandon.
Kidding, green flag already in the air.
blooper reel. But we are in turn number 1 and 2, and I'll tell you, the number 32 of McWhorter really was kind of bobbling on the yellow line there on the back bumper of Borgstad. I was hoping there wasn't going to be a hook there. Luckily there wasn't, but that was a close call. Down the back straightaway we are.
Sorry for my rookie mistake there, folks. I was on the replay reel, but Cole Borgstad trying to hold these guys out up front. He will be scored as your leader. The 2 machine trying to get some done on the outside. Lane 32 pushing Borgstad all over the back bumper to 90 machine.
Yeah, the 2 of McDaniel on the top groove right now. He needs a little bit more help than what he has right now. It's only 3 drivers and a mile back to the next driver on the outside groove. He does have Walzenbeck in the 54 of Chris Akers.
Cole Borgstad will lead that lap once again. He does seem to have a little bit more power on the bottom side here, and just trying to hold these guys off.
You can see right now it's 6 trucks up front, actually 7 rather, as Robert Victory, the 7, trying to cling on to the back of this pack as it's 3 by 3, and he has to decide which lane he does want to go with. Bryant Ward is about a second back behind the 7, so I don't know if they will be able to catch. They're right on the cusp. Is Ward in the company behind him? But in the lead right now, McDaniel has the run. He's side by side, and I think he's going to get it at the stripe.
32 looked on the low side. Obviously, you can't pass below the double yellow here at Daytona. He doesn't. Cole Borgstad isn't getting much help right now from that 32 machine. Now the 2 machine slips down in front.
Now McDaniel has sole possession of the lead. Now that's going to leave the 29 of Walzenbeck to lead the outside groove with the assistance of Chris Akers in the 54. Down the back straightaway we are, the Daytona super stretch. And the 29 of Walzenbeck, he's going to clear for the lead. Is he going to drop to the bottom, or is he going to stay with his help up top? He's going to drop to the bottom in the 54 as well.
Wow, that inside line just wasn't really going anywhere. The outside line fell apart big time.
It most certainly did, as the only driver up top right now is last season's champion David Weishart in the 21. Everybody else is right to the bottom of the racetrack, as we have a 1 driver decide to take it up there to the top behind him. That 1 driver is the number 32 of Joseph McWhorter. He is in the 6th position scored right now as he tries to get to the right rear quarter panel of Borgstad, as the 21 trying to side draft McDaniel and trying to get something going there, as he's still by himself as he awaits 32 to get to him.
'29 out front of this thing. These guys head down into turn number 3 now. 54 out there behind the 29. A couple trucks trying to make the outside work. I don't expect them to be able to get very far, but as I say, that 21 had a pretty good run, but with just 2 trucks up there, it's going to be hard.
Yeah, we've said it a couple times, Brandon, that we may be waiting for the time that people will kind of tone it back, kind of waste some laps, burn some laps off for the final run after the final set of pit stops. But based on what we've heard from Borgstad, maybe we are already done with pit stops for the night.
Yeah, hard to tell, but these guys doing the best they can. 21, and believe it's the 32 up there with them, and that it is. Really making up some good times with just the 2 of those trucks up there.
Yeah, nobody else really is seeming to want to go up there, as the Cyclones to the inside and Louisville to the outside. The college football themed trucks that we are racing tonight. The 29 will get it, but it's just McWhorter and McDaniels up top. Weishart up top at the 21, and McWhorter doing the best they can with just the 2 of them, and they just need more help. I don't know if anyone's going to go up there.
Heading down the back straightaway now, 29 still has the advantage. 54 pushing him. Oh boy!
Walzenbeck
couple
moved
of
up
guys getting a little bit squirrely.
Walzenbeck moved up the track and kind of doored the 21, moved him up there. Don't know if he thought he was clear or if he was trying to block some momentum. Not quite sure, but that left Weishart by himself up top, as now McDaniel's going to take a stab at it and maybe use Weishart as his advantage, as his help.
The 2 machine up there all by himself. Now, as I say that, 32 jumps in front. Still got help from the 21. Now Borgstad jumps to the bottom lane.
Yeah, so McDaniel is now side by side with Walzenbeck for the lead. The 3 of them up top, 3 of them on the bottom. A little bit of a gap to the remainder of trucks in line. Remember, these are fixed setup machines, so every driver is driving the exact same prepared truck. So every advantage you are seeing is purely driver skill and their knowledge of the draft.
Some of these guys doing a really good job of playing with the draft here, and wow, all over the back bumper of the 2 was the 32, and the 32 actually got into a little bit of a sandwich there with the 21 right on his back bumper.
Yeah, the outside is starting to get wound back up. Everybody not given an inch of space, drafting as closely as possible. Top 6 are 2x2x2 with a little bit of a ways back to the car of Robert Victory, the truck rather of Robert Victory in the 7 machine. You can see here, I don't think anybody has lost the draft. Most everybody still within this lead pack as the 2 drops to the bottom. McWhorter and McDaniel have cleared. They are 1 and 2 right now. That will leave the 21 by himself again up front. He is kind of the Lone Ranger. Everyone's leaving him by himself. Some single file action going on. The top 4 drivers. Now McDaniel has the 11 machine of Brandon Stokes behind him as there's 4 trucks up there. They have a little bit of time to go before they can get to your leaders, but they have a head of steam, it seems, and they might get some ground made up this time by.
The 2 car currently leading this thing, 21 and 11 up on the high side. Everybody else dropped down, and so now these guys heading down out of turn number 4, heading down the front straightaway. Just these guys really starting to tick laps off.
Yeah, there's now 30 to go, so this race is in the last 3rd stage at this moment. And we have about 15 drivers or so in the lead pack ready. All 15 of these drivers can win this race. On the outside is Weishart at the moment. He has the edge with Braden Stokes and the 11. The 2 of them giving a pretty good push, and they may have the edge over McDaniel.
The 89 machine about to get lapped here by these guys. He very kindly stays high.
89 machine, that is Patrick Howard, 4 laps off the pace after his most recent lap down. He is just gone. But McDaniel drops McDaniel in the number 2 machine to the inside. Still with the push from Joseph McWhorter. Had the lead at the stripe. 21 and the 11 still fighting hard by themselves up top as Borgstad in the 90 trying to get back to the bumper of the 11. Has a ways to go before he can get there.
These guys starting to get more and more aggressive once again. There's a lot of movement going on through the center now of the pack now. Now up front, these guys really got to start to be careful. So now heading down through the corner now, number 2 machine up out in front of this thing, and as these guys head down off of turn number 4, 32 all over its back bumper to 21 and the 11, still trying to make up some ground on the high side. Now they can get even, but it's going to be really hard to pass with only 2 trucks up there. Looks like now, yeah, so they get even, and it's just really hard. It's past the 2 trucks. They really need someone else to jump up there. I'd say at least 2 trucks, Corey.
Yeah, well, certainly they're going to need more than 2, but I'll tell you, with the 2 that they have, they're doing a pretty damn well good job. You can see the extremely long conga line to the inside, but Walzenbeck is going to try to break that. Nope, he will drop to the bottom. Thought he was going to take a look, but you can see here, everybody to the bottom of the racetrack except your 2 leaders.
Yeah, single file all the way around now. The 32 jumps up to the high side. It's going to give the advantage to the upper lane, a little bit of extra help. 21 was clear. Now these guys, wow, squeezing the 2 machine down on the low side. They make it work. 32 gets left in the dust.
It does look like he is kind of he's out to lunch right now. Everybody going to the inside groove as we're 27 laps to go. Looks like these drivers are taming out and ready for, maybe getting ready for the end of the race. Oop, the 11 machine gets pushed out of line. Travis McDaniel to the inside of him. Brandon Stoke in the 11. He is going to drop back.
Oh, the two machine McDaniels comes up to the high side now. He's going to actually lead that lap.
And actually, correction on my part, Brandon Stokes is 1 lap down at the moment. I don't recall that. Maybe he, I don't know if you remember what happened to him, Brandon. I thought he was up there with these guys, but he is being scored 1 lap down at the moment.
Yeah, I'm not too sure.
I think he was involved in the wreck, maybe had to do some repair, but regardless of that, he is up with these guys going for the lead, even though he is off the lead lap rather. He is giving a really good push to McDaniel in the 2, and you can see the massive gap, the massive space to the outside group before the rest of the help is there.
21 on the low side now, 2 up on a high side. The 11 trying to push the 2 machine up to the front of this thing, but the bottom has more help.
Yeah, the bottom's where it is. I think everyone is starting to tame out, and we have gotten a little bit of confirmation with some pit strategy with a couple drivers. We do know that those who stayed out on the last caution, that is Cole Borgstad, and I want to say the 92 of Chris Matthews, they should not be able to make the end of this race, but it is expected from what we have gathered from our communication that most everybody else should be good on fuel.
Yeah, it's good to hear. So these guys can just focus on racing it out to the end.
As there's 25 laps to go in the race, and David White,
oh,
there we go.
Wrecking! Caution flag is in the air. This is the big one once again.
That is just
Cole Borgstad, heavy hit to the outside wall. He almost made it through.
McDaniels, the 501 involved. The who else do we have? 32 McOrder involved. That is just about everybody.
Oh man, the 29 looks like the 29 came up the racetrack about a half a lane. The 11 came down about a half a lane, and complete racing incidents there. But man, oh man, they were racing so close and so aggressive there. It just caused major issues. The 2 machine goes around. The 54 involved. The 90 Cole Borgstad involved. Cole Borgstad about made it through that thing.
I can't tell. I want to say it was more of the 11 maybe turning down.
Yeah, that's what I saw.
And you can see, especially with him off the lead lap, that is going to definitely shake up the field, as a lot of lead lap drivers had some significant damage, but I'm assuming some of them should have their fast repair and their backup truck, if you will call it that. Or at least we would hope so for their sake. But this is lap number 77, and we will assemble behind the pace car on the back straightaway and try to see who we have left. We have David Weishart. We have Chris Akers, Robert Victory, and Phil Gary. And then we go back as everyone tries to catch up. The 44 with some damage. Bryant Ward, Zachary Carter. That one machine has a little bit of crinkle. He does look okay. And then we have Chris Matthews, Cole Borgstad with some pretty beaten up left rear bumper panel right there. Joseph McOrder, Travis McDaniel, and last scored on the lead lap at the moment is Matthew Welsenbeck. And here we come to pit lane, and we would expect 4 tires, fuel, and a whole bunch of hammers and duct tape taken out to repair these vehicles, as a lot of these trucks looks like they just came from Bowman Gray Stadium.
Yeah, Daytona International Speedway. A lot of beat up trucks here tonight.
Kind of the way of the world with plate racing these days, both in the virtual world and in the real world, as you can very well tell from watching Speed Weeks this past weekend on TV. There's a lot of, as I like to call it, junkyarditis here on these restrictor plates racetracks, even though we don't technically have a restrictor plate in the trucks. Obviously, these large packs, these aggressive moves, these high speeds, I mean, I think there's more damage here than there usually is at short tracks, but that is how it is, and hopefully these drivers can get repaired and get ready for what should be about a 20-lap shootout to the end.
So it looks like pit stops mostly complete. We're going to take this opportunity to go to a quick side-by-side commercial break. Stay tuned for the restart.
The car behind me is my Chili Bowl midget, the one that I won the Chili Bowl with. And what's interesting about that is it's actually the car that iRacing scanned that's going to be available to all the iRacing members out there.
When I was 16 years old, I was working at a Goodyear tire store, and my boss actually built an old dirt car, street stock Monte Carlo. Went with him one night, fell in love with it. It was a hell of a race, hell of a party, and a big fight afterwards. I was like, this is it. This is it for me. It wasn't long after that, I was driving an old 78 Camaro out of the weeds at that guy's farm. We pulled that thing out and made a race car out of it, and away we went. You know, I think a driver has more to do with the equation going back and racing dirt, whether it's a modified, a late model. You can do more with the race car. You know, the harder you drive it, a lot of times, the better it goes. You can crawl up on that wheel and feel like you made the difference at the end of the night. Asphalt car, you can't overdrive them. Well, that was the first thing that I had to learn right off the bat is, oh my gosh, I've got to discipline myself, not overdrive this thing, and that's how you get the most out of it. Truth be told, communicating the right information to your crew and your crew chief so they can do their job and make their appropriate adjustments for you to go faster and do your job is probably 90% of the game in our world. I've always loved late models. You know, my dream was to be a late model driver driving for a living across the country like Daryl and Don do that drive for me. I mean, that was, truth be told, that was my dream, you know. I always wanted a semi. I always wanted a stacker trailer with 2 hot rods in it, and let's go racing. Let's take off with your buddies and go race and chase that dream. Never in a million years did I think it would turn into a Cup Series, and I actually have an opportunity to own 2 you know, dirt late model teams.
Welcome back to Primetime Racing TV. We're bringing you tonight's coverage of the Rivalry Racing League, the season opener Daytona 250 here. We've had quite the carnage here tonight. We've had 5 cautions for 20 laps tonight. A lot of drivers taken out, but still a good amount of drivers that are in raceable condition and on the speedway right now as we will approach 19 laps to go this time by.
Lights out on top of the iRacing official pace car are out. These guys stacked up, doubled up, and ready to go back. Green flag racing. David Weishart up on the high side, and the outside pole. On pole is Chris Ackers in the 54 machine. Pace car getting ready to make that hard left turn down into the pit lane. Now it goes off. Green flag back in the air. We're underway once again.
15 trucks take the green flag here for the 20 lap to go moment in the race. Looks like a couple drivers on the back. 3 or so drivers have dropped back off the lead drafts. They may be too damaged to stay with it. So it looks like 12 drivers up front will be going for the win here tonight.
Yeah, these
Oh,
guys.
someone on the wall. We're turning around. The 62.
Wow. No caution. The 29 was involved.
Oh, the 29s. I read the door wrong there. Let's go back on replay quickly and see what happened to the 29 machine.
I thought he was going to go up and over there.
See this? I don't know exactly what happened to him. He kind of will go on board, see if we can get a better perspective. He was just on the outside groove, and I really don't know what happened there to him.
Yeah, it was a very odd looking incident, but yeah, I think his night is going to be done.
Looks like if anything, there may have been a little internet issue there. It didn't look like there was contact, but regardless of that, his race, as you said, most likely is over, but to the front of the pack we go. We see David Weishart at the 21. He does have the lead. Bryant Ward to the inside groove behind him, and to the outside by himself is the 54, Chris Akers. The 44 washes up the track. 44 washes up, pushes the 54 nearly into the wall in the outside groove. That's not going to make him very happy, but everyone does manage to collect themselves, and here comes McDaniel to the outside of the 44.
44 really has to hold it up against the double yellow, really has to hold his line. He comes up the racetrack a little bit more now, once again, now clips the apron, really drifting up into the lane of the 54 machine, and I imagine Ackers is already not very happy with him.
Yeah,
Don't want to push the issue.
Yeah, that nearly took out another set of drivers, but luckily everyone was able to hang on to it. 2 and the 54, I think they're both will clear. Yes, they will. They will drop to the bottom in front of Weishart, new leader, as the 7, Robert Victory. First time he's really been in the top 5 tonight. He is the Lone Ranger to the outside as Joseph McWhorter decided not to help him, shuffles him up to the top as we have 4 drivers behind them getting some momentum, closing in on this lead pack.
Oh, one truck hard up on the outside wall. That's the 1 machine. No caution once again.
That's Zachary Carter. Let's go see what happened to Zachary. Looks like the 92 and him made some contact at the center of the tri-oval there. That threw him into the wall, but he was by himself, and officials keep the green flag on the speedway. We stay green flag, and to turn number 3 we go. And Weishart to the outside by himself. Can he funnel himself back into line? Just hardly does so. I think the 44 cut up a break.
These guys starting to get very aggressive once again. We're down into about the last 16 laps of this race now, Corey.
Yep, this race should be over in a matter of 10 to 15 minutes, so stay tuned here to PTR TV. The end of a plate race is always an exciting one to watch. Who's going to get it? Looks like everyone is single file in the lead draft right now. Lead draft consisting of 9 drivers, caboose of that being Davis Richards. You have to imagine at this point people are trying to figure out who they're going to work with, when they're going to make their moves, what they're going to do.
Single file down into the turn number 3 now. The number 2, Travis McDaniel, out front, the 54 behind him. That's the 21, 44, and 32. So these guys trying to do what they can. A couple of guys maybe looking to make some moves, but can't do it. They don't want to get left out in the dust.
Yeah, it's kind of it's a chance to take at this point. It's kind of ironic how it works out, Brandon. It's kind of shows this kind of the realism inadvertently compared to the real world, where we see a lot of 2-3 wide racing entering in the early stages of the race. We see a lot of carnage, but we're 15 to go. Look what everyone's doing.
Yeah, absolutely. These guys all single file. Looks like the 44 and the 32 may be planning something out. The 32 went high. Nobody went with him, though.
Yeah, everyone at this point, I mean, it's kind of a little role reversal what you'd think. You'd think we'd be having the aggressive racing now versus earlier in the race, but I think everyone is kind of just waiting to the last moment and prepping to make their moves, but you don't want to wait too long because you may not have enough time to get there. This is the point in the race where you have to kind of figure out teammates. You figure out who's been working with you all race, who is going to give you the best advantage, who is going to give you the best push. McWhorter to the top of the racetrack right now, trying to use Robert Victory, and I don't think that run's going to fizzle out very well. And Victory is going to take that opportunity to clear and pass the 32.
Yeah, these guys.
It's Cole Borgstadt about
still
to go
single
lap
file.
down.
Cole Borgstadt has some pretty good damage on his truck.
That will put him 1 lap down. He already used his backup truck, so he's gonna need some significant repairs, but I don't know if we're gonna get a yellow, Brandon, so he may have to deal with the situation he has been assessed. But here we go, a little bit of racing back at the latter half of the lead draft, and they need to watch out for that because they may lose the leaders if they do this too long.
Yeah, absolutely. So, got to be careful, but about 5 trucks holding it up front here, still single file racing.
Yeah, that battling at the back of the pack has already ended, as we now will take 12 laps to go. And the number 2 machine of Travis McDaniel started in the 7th position, has led 17 laps today. Will take the leaders into turn number 1. Will lead the pack into turn number 1, and here comes some drivers trying to get that top lane working on the back of the pack.
We know it can be done. These guys gonna try to make their way up towards the front. Can they do it within the last 10 laps or so? They're starting to get more help as well. That's gonna really help. The 7th machine tried jumping up there, not gonna work. Now he's gonna try it again. Oh boy! Sandwich the 44 between him and the 21.
Victory really needs to kind of pick his lane back there. The 7 machine, Brandon, he is really indecisive on whether he wanted to go to the top or not. He blew his opportunity, but that was a really tight call. And here comes Weishart to take the run off of the 32 and try to get that run going and get side by side for the lead.
Weishart now leading this top lane. Remember, blocking can become a thing in league rules. With 5 laps to go, we are still 10 laps to go, or 10 and a half laps to go in this thing now.
And that's not something that, Brandon, we've seen too much as a legal rule in a league. We've not really seen blocking to the utmost degree been allowed, so I'm very curious to see how these drivers do decide to indeed do that. But at the moment, the 2 machine still is in charge of the inside lane. Weishart trying to get wound up top, but nothing doing yet. I think he may have something going now, though.
Weishart trying to get even, now even with the 2nd place machine, 54, now up to the quarter panel of the 2. Now even with the 2 on the inside.
Yes, he is. If he can hold that position, he may be able to get the run off the hill down the back straightaway and clear him into turn number 3. Didn't have enough help, didn't have enough of a run to do that. We see the 92 machine, Chris Matthews, trying to tag on to the back of these drivers, get 3 drivers working the top groove.
Two by 2 now, and it looks like 3 trucks, or what will be 3 trucks, potentially up on a high side now.
10 laps to go has been completed. We're on 9 laps to go in the Daytona 250 for the Rivalry Racing League. This race soon coming to its waning stages. Travis McDaniel has been the control truck on the inside lane for the majority of this last restart, but this is where he's going to have to start watching that mirror, start planning his runs and seeing who's going to help him.
Weishart to his outside now. Those guys trying to make up some ground. Just 2 trucks up there.
2 trucks and a half, if you will, almost, because the 92 is there, but he's not close enough to really help them too much. They're going to have to funnel to the inside of Walzenbeck in the 29 off of turn number 4. They will do so successfully. And I'll tell you, Brandon, if it's just the 2 of them up there, I'm not going to be able to give Weishart a chance.
No, but, you know, they could surprise us. I'm sure when it comes down to the closing stages of this race, you're going to see more trucks wanting to go up there.
I may be eating my words, as he actually had a little bit of an advantage, a little bit of an edge entering turn number 1. Naturally, will lose it through the turn, with the inside radius being the shorter distance around the speedway. But 32 McOrder doing the best job he can. They just need 1 more truck up there. The 92 just does not seem to have enough help to be able to get up there by himself. It's going to take whether the 44 or the 7 or the 68 to take a stab to the top groove to give him a shot. But right now, everyone seems content on the inside.
Weishart not going to be able to lead that lap once again, but he is getting closer and closer up on the outside. Only 2 trucks up there. I think if they were to get at least one more truck, Weishart could have the advantage altogether.
Yeah, most certainly if he gets that extra run. Remember, we've seen multiple drivers been able to clear. We've even seen 2 trucks clear on the outside, being able to drop to the bottom at the end of the straightaway. So it most certainly is possible, but with just the 2-truck tango working the top groove here, it is not gonna happen. We have 7 laps to go, coming to 6 laps to go. Remember, the iRacing cutoff lap is about 5 laps to go, where if we have a caution after that, this race will end behind the pace car. You want to make your moves.
6 laps to go at the line.
Oops, sorry, Brandon. You do want to make your moves before then. You have to always acknowledge that as an option that this race may end under yellow. You want to be in the best position you can for those last 5 laps, just in case.
Hearing word that they've got quite a bit of lap traffic coming up, Corey. These guys may have to maneuver themselves. I see a couple trucks onto the apron to get out of the way now.
And here comes the 21. He has a fender. He's door to door, but he had a little bit of a fender ahead of him at the end of the straightaway. He will lose it through the center of the turn. McDaniel will clear yet again with the push from Chris Aker in the 54. And we come to 5 to go. This is the legal blocking lap.
5 laps to go at Daytona with the Rivalry Racing League, their National Championship Truck Series. Here, the season opener coming to a close quickly. Here tonight from Daytona, blocking is now legal, completely legal for these guys. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see if anybody does decide to do it. Will McDaniel try to take a stab to the top, take the momentum? If he does that, he may open up the door for Akers to the bottom, so he has to watch out. Borgstad going another lap down in the 90, pulls all the way to the inside, but I'll tell you, still nobody wants to help out Weishart and McOrder on the top.
The 2 machine kind of running that center line into the corner that killed the momentum of the 21 machine. Playing it smart is the 2 right now, but these guys starting to get very aggressive.
Yes, they most certainly are. The money time is right now. We have 4 to go. The cutoff lap has been completed. The race is going to end under yellow, or we're going to get the checkers. That is the only 2 flags we will see. Here we come into turn number 1. Weishart has the run, Brandon. He has the edge. He has the position ahead of him on the outside groove. This is what he needs.
Yeah, they've got more trucks up there to help. They've got about 4 trucks. These guys starting to become more and more aggressive up here now, and it's really helping Weishart.
Lapper in the middle of the track. I'm hoping he gets out of the way. He goes to the top. He doesn't give them too much space, though. That was a really tight scenario. I wouldn't call that a very respectful move by that Lapper. He should have given them more space, but everyone does get by. Here we go. Weishart upside down.
Oh, big red caution is out. That'll end the race. Weishart taking a wild ride.
Yeah, that was kind of all set up by a tight quarters call with that lap driver in 3 and 4. Don't want to call out names or accusations, but I feel like there should have been a little more room given. Maybe should have went to the apron, but let's go on replay and see what happened. You can see here as they funnel onto the inside of him, the lapper, actually it wasn't the lapper that caused it. They did manage to get by that, so I'll take that accusation back. It was actually the 32 of McOrder kind of hooked Weishart off turn 4.
Man, Weishart took a wild ride.
So while that lap car did cause a tight situation, I want to take back accusation. That was not the cause of the wreck. That was just the 32 trying to give the 21 the best push he can, and gave him a little bit too good of a push, hooked him around, and that will cause this race to end under yellow flag conditions. So as we exit turn number 4 behind the iRacing.com Ford Mustang pace car, Travis McDaniel in the number 2 machine just has to navigate 5 more miles at pace speed, and he will be the season opening champion for the Daytona 250 in his Florida State Chevy Silverado. Florida State Seminoles. I didn't want to get that wrong. I had to wait for the truck to pass by so I could see the team names. All right, I'm not overly up to date on college football. I feel like I'll get a little bit of a crash course by covering this league, which will be kind of a interesting dynamic, but We right now have McDaniel in the lead, Akers in second, McWhorter in third, Bryant Ward in fourth, and Davis Richards would be the unofficial top 5 right now.
So Travis McDaniel will be coming home with victory here tonight, and fought long and hard all night. We've seen him up front pretty much the whole night, Corey.
Yeah, at the end of the race, he will be scored having led 29 laps tonight. So nearly a third of the race. That 2 machine did stay up front. If English was something that I could speak, that'd be nice. But a good drive by the number 2 machine. He was in the championship 4 last season at Homestead. I think, if memory serves, that was dating back to the end of November. He had some, I believe, some internet issues that kept him away there, and not the fastest truck at Homestead. So trying to rebound in 2018 for the number 2 machine of McDaniel for season 2 of Rivalry Racing.
These guys will come around this time by and take the white flag here at Daytona, and I'll stay under pace speed here.
And I do believe, if I did read the rules correctly, that this is a win and in style league in how they operate their playoff system. So this should give McDaniels his instant lock-in into their championship chase, playoffs, whatever it is called, as we know it changes in the real world every other year, it seems. But he will be in championship contention, we'll call it that generically, will be the number 2 machine.
So the top 3 being scored as top 3 right now is the 2, the 54, and the 32. We saw Weishart up there, but he ended up taking a wild ride to bring out the final caution flag here.
All in all, the race will complete with 30 lead changes out of 100 laps once we do hit the stripe to complete the race. 6 cautions will ultimately be for 24 laps, so fortunately about 25% of this race was behind the pace car, but all in all, we did see a very exciting race tonight. A lot of 3-wide racing, a lot of aggressive racing, and ultimately, yeah, we did see some big ones, but I think it was a pretty good show overall by these drivers tonight.
So these guys going to be making their way out of turn number 4. We've seen the 2 car up front pretty much all night here. He ran it. We had a couple ups and downs periodically throughout the night, but he was up front when it was most important. These guys going to be making their way down the front straightaway now. Your winner here for the Daytona International Speedway driver, the number 2 machine, Travis McDaniel.
We will offer our congratulations to Travis McDaniel from PTR TV on his victory tonight in the Daytona 250. Chris Akers with second and Joseph McWhorter in third. Stay tuned for the post-race show after this brief commercial break, and we will talk to the top 3 drivers and see how their race went. Stay with us.
When you think of iRacing, you don't think of a video game. It's not. It's way above and beyond any of that. You know, dirt racing changes so much. The track changes so much. Being able to capture that, to, you know, experience all those details that surround dirt racing and make dirt racing what it is what makes iRacing so cool, because they did nail all of that. I knew when they came to our shop and scanned cars and went to the detail of getting that car right, I knew that it was going to be over the top, because it blew my mind just the work that went into making sure the car itself was legit. This sport has been around a long time. The competition can't be replaced, and that's what brings people back to the racetrack week in and week out.
And we're back here on PTR TV after the Daytona 250 for the Rivalry Racing League. We've caught up with the top 3 finishers after tonight's race, and we will interview them as such. So your 3rd place finisher is Joseph McOrder. All right, Joseph McOrder, PTR TV, you got a copy with us.
I do indeed. How are you guys tonight?
I'm great, man. It was a pretty good race out there, all in all. Very exciting. A lot of 3-wide racing in the opening stint. We did see some carnage happen, and came down to about a 20-lap dash to the end. So talk about how your race was, and if you had any close calls, or if you had to pull out the backup truck at all tonight.
Oh, yeah, we had a really good night. I just want to start off with thanking the guys, Danny and Jonathan. They're my spotters tonight. They kept me out of trouble. We had a few really close calls, and just, I don't know how we made it through every single one of them. We fought from back and forth all night, it seemed like. It was definitely a lot of fun, and it was a headache, man. trying to worry about all that 3-wide stuff there at the beginning, man. It got insane, but yeah, we did a really good job.
Yeah, you had a couple close calls, you said, and talk about the racing overall, man. It was especially the first 20-30 laps. We saw some amazing racing. It was 3x3, a lot of dicey moves, and everyone was doing a good job. How was that from the driver's seat?
Yeah, from the driver's seat, it was definitely nerve-wracking because I was waiting. You know, me and the guys were sitting there talking like, all right, when's this going to happen? You know, the big one's going to be soon. So we made the strategy call to fall back to the 31 there on that early side of the race and sit a couple of car lengths back behind that. It paid off in our favor. The wreck did happen there at the beginning, and we got through it. Really close. We got through it though. All night long it's been close wrecks with us, and somehow, you know, we did a really good job getting around it.
Yeah, you did, man. You finished 3rd here tonight. You salvaged out a podium finish here at Daytona. Who do you want to give your shout-outs to?
Yeah, I got to start off with thanking my team, of course. You know, like I said, Jonathan Smith and Danny Lawson are up in the booth tonight, or up on the stands tonight, you know, watching over the truck. I want to say a big thank you to Driven Motorsports for all the hard work with the trucks every week. And, you know, we're running several different leagues and running the Road to Pro as well, so we're really busy. And I also want to thank 1077 Sage for coming back on the truck for the whole season in the Rivalry. Really appreciate them. It's awesome to have a sponsor on the truck this season, and you know, it's a good way to start at Daytona and get them a good finish, you know, right off the bat, and puts you in high spirits for next week.
Yeah, most certainly, man. You're on a good start to the season, so we'll congratulate you on your finish yet again, and hopefully we'll catch you for next week's race.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it. You guys have fun.
So that is the 3rd place finisher. Now, Brandon, we'll talk to your 2nd place finisher, Chris Akers.
Yeah, down here with Chris now, and your 2nd place finisher here tonight, man. Kind of a wild race tonight. How do you feel?
Oh man, it was great. It was a pretty good race all night. Hey, we got caught up in a couple of the wrecks, but it is what it is. We had a great race with Travis there and my teammate Matt. Couldn't ask for nothing more.
Yeah, we saw you up front pretty much all night. Obviously, a couple of times you got sent to the back there because of a wreck, man. But, you know, all in all, I'd say it was a pretty good night for you. What was your strategy going into this thing?
It's Daytona. There's not much of a strategy here. It's just stay clean and try to stay up front as much as you can.
Yeah, absolutely. And, well, you know, you did a pretty good job of that. Tell us, was there any really close calls that you had tonight?
Oh, yeah, there was 2 or 3 close calls. That the one wrecked in the tri-oval, just barely missed it. Shoot, cars flipping over top of me. It was crazy.
Man, but yeah, you know, you come home with a 2nd place finish here tonight. Obviously, you're on podium, and you did a really good job. You're sitting on a rocket all night here in the draft. Is there anyone that you'd like to shout out to?
Yeah, first of all, my teammate Matt. Me and him worked great tonight. I hate he got in some trouble right there at the end. We'd have gave it a run for our money. And I want to thank you guys, PTR, for broadcasting the race. Really appreciate it. And most importantly, Travis for putting on the races and stuff like that and putting a group together for us to go run.
Awesome, and awesome job on your second place finish, and hopefully we'll see you next week.
Thank you. We'll see y'all.
And also, next to me, he is out of the race car. I have your race winner here, Travis McDaniel. Travis, how do you feel?
Oh, I feel great. That was a hell of a race, a lot of fun, and glad we was able to come out of here with a win.
Absolutely, and man, oh man, that was an exciting race there at the end. At any point of this thing, do you have any really close calls? Maybe thought it would take you out of contention?
I was really worried after I wrecked the first truck. I knew I had to race on eggshells after that, and then the 21 and 32 on the top line really pinching down and try to get some side draft off the corners, and I was just hoping they didn't put it in the quarter panel and wreck us all, but I hate that happened to David. He had a pretty strong truck all night, and I know he's going to be around for the rest of the season.
Well, tell us, what was your strategy going into this thing? Obviously, you come home with a win, you were up front pretty much all night, but did you have a strategy coming into this race?
No, I had no idea how to approach this thing. I've tried it all different ways before. It's never worked out. So I said I'm going to keep it on the bottom line until 20 to go, and then I'm going to try to get to the front.
Yeah, well, you got up front all the way to the race win, and obviously you had a really fast truck in the draft, and you were able to work the draft, better than most guys were tonight, and you ended up coming home with a race win. And is there anyone that you'd like to thank or shout out to?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd like to thank all these guys that came out here tonight. It's the first race for a lot of these guys with us. We had some cautions, but overall it's a pretty good race, so I appreciate all them showing up. Thank you guys for signing on this year to broadcast these races. I know these people really enjoy listening to y'all, so I appreciate y'all signing up. Give a shout out to my family and my friends. I got some people watching tonight, so glad I was able to put Florida State Chevy in victory lane for them.
Absolutely, your winner here in the season opener from Daytona, Travis McDaniel.
All right, so that is our post-race show. That is the top 3 drivers with their interviews here tonight. So we will wrap up tonight's coverage with the final rundown of the results here at Daytona for the Daytona 250 Rivalry Racing National Championship Truck Series. With the win tonight, as we just spoke to, was Travis McDaniel in the 2 machine. He led 29 laps. Chris Akers with the 2nd. Joseph McWhorter with the 3rd, and then rounding up the top 10 was Bryant Ward, Davis Richards, Chris Matthews, Robert Victory, Phil Gary, David Weishart, and Matthew Walls make the top 10. In 11th spot, you will find Cole Borgstedt in the 90. Brandon Stokes was 12th. Brooks Potts in 13th. Zachary Carter 14th. Patrick Howard 15th. And rounding out your top 20, Brandon Wilson, Richard Holland, Chris Seidenfaden, Ched Martin, and Michael Tibetz. And the remaining results will flash by on your screen.
So, obviously, we wouldn't be able to have this channel up and running without our channel partners here, starting off with Movement Fabrications, a family-run business formerly established in 2012 with over 25 years of experience in the ventilation industry. If I could speak English, this would be great. We offer a wide range of services. This includes ducting, ventilation, extraction, and canopies. If you're in the Nottingham, UK area, Movement Fabrications is the ventilation service to trust. Also, Krutz Custom Graphics, custom racing shirts, hero cards, paint schemes, and much more. From local racers to big race teams, we've got your back. Based out of upstate New York, Krutz Custom Graphics is always P1. Also, iBog, iRacing Broadcast Overlay Graphics, custom graphics, coding, and theme design for iRacing's 2 main overlay systems, ATVO and IRTVO. If you're a broadcast company looking for custom overlays to make your channel shine, talk to Jason Allison at iBog, iRacing Broadcast Overlay Graphics. Also, a huge shout out to iRacing.com Motorsport Simulations for allowing us to have this awesome service here, and all the staff over there that makes this happen. Also, be sure to check out our Patreon to keep broadcast quality high and costs low for league owners. We need a little help from the fans. Check out our Patreon at patreon.com/PTRTV. If you become a patron, you'll get rewards that vary depending on how much you donate. Become a Patreon at patreon.com/PCRTV. Also, special shout out to our track cameras here tonight, Track Cams for Gourmet. Check them out at trackcams22.com or find them on Facebook at facebook.com/trackcams.
That's a mouthful for you, isn't it, every night, Brandon?
Yeah, and it would help if I could speak English through
Yeah,
those,
it's been a long night of coverage here, 250 miles at Daytona, but we had a heck of a race won by Travis McDaniel in the number 2 machine. If you liked tonight's broadcast, make sure you like and subscribe. If you're a fan of the Rivalry Racing League, we'll bring you the coverage every Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, so stay tuned, don't miss a minute of the action, and stay tuned for our Hardline Racing League on Fridays, Cyber Racing on Mondays, and American Sim Racing Series on Tuesdays. Sign up, make sure you don't miss a minute of the action. You'll see us on the iRacing.com portal as well in the near future, so stay tuned for that. Signing out of the booth tonight is Corey Silva and Brandon Krutz. Have a great night, everyone, and we'll catch you next time.
Have a great night. Catch you next time.